Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so one obstacle in pursuit of Vedanta, denying your individuality too early, and which then doesn't allow you to refine your ideas about dharma and emotions. That is one form of denial. The other form, and what is the thing? I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. And the whole life goes in disassociating rather than honoring your individuality and making these changes. The second thing that we do, which is again an obstacle in Vedanta, is denying the reality of the world. And what is that? World is mithya. So world is mithya. And unfortunately, not only this, but mithya is generally translated as some kind of an illusion. Now the minute you say world is an illusion or world is a mithya, what is the first thing that we try to do is what? If you're caught in an illusion, what do you try to do?
Don't meet this.
Remove yourself from the illusion. So if this understanding, so these are the obstacles. So, and we have terminology for that, right? That aham atma is neither the body nor mind, is neither deha nor antakarna. And the jagat is mithya. But if it is not understood properly and if it is seen as not real or something which is an illusion, and if you're caught in something which is not real, an illusion, the first message that your mind creates is, I need to get out of it. So when you want to get out of it, what is the way that the person behaves? The world becomes a source of threat. The world becomes something to stay away from, because it keeps you away from the truth. So you want to extract yourself from the world and detach. So this is where the terminology comes, which is things such as giving up desire. Because what is seen is the desires will keep you entangled in this world. Do you understand how wrong constructs are made? These are all obstacles. Do you understand? Huh?
Or translations or misunderstanding.
All misunderstanding, and these are all obstacles to learning Vedanta. These are all problems which are very common and very prevalent. And we need to change this whole approach before we begin to understand Vedanta. Very common. So many people say this, right? So then giving up desire becomes a very big thing, because the desire will keep you entangled in this world. That is one ramification of this mistake that people make. What is the second mistake? I have to be detached how many times from the world? So now what it means is I have to keep doing everything, but I don't have to invest myself emotionally in anything. So I keep doing everything mechanically, but I remove myself from it. So detachment, dissociation, giving up desires. Then again, what are the other ramifications of this mistake? Denial of the world. That the world itself is divided into material world versus spiritual world.
Yeah, this is
Very, very common, all the common mistakes. And what it then means is anything which is a source of pleasure, right? It's all seen as material and it's condemned. Right? So that means if you want to be spiritual, money becomes all horrible thing, right? Because it will keep you entangled. Then you begin to have guilt about having certain luxury, right? So and then you begin to judge others. Oh, this person is not spiritual because this person has a fancy car and wears nice clothes. So what does it mean? That spiritual person has to wear totally boring clothes? That makes you spiritual? Do you understand what kind of ideas we create? And we get so caught in those ideas, and not only we judge ourselves and we judge others, and it all becomes completely something which takes you on another tangent only. Right? So the spiritual world and material world, and finally what it then means is that the world becomes all problematic. Engagement in the world is seen as problematic. So then what do you need to do? You need to remove yourself and go to the mountain. It's much easier. And then you have to be alone, and in order to discover your truth, right? Because the world is a distraction. All common, you have so many misconceptions. Then you need God to remove yourself from the world. And then, see, once you make some fundamental mistakes, you go on building on it, and then there is no end to the mind's fantasies. Because then you see somebody with a long beard and some weird look, and this person is very spiritual now because this person has left everything, and you do not understand how much does the person understand, how much the person has evolved, how much the person sees the truth. All this is completely, the real criteria are not used, and some totally different criteria are used to judge the people and to judge yourself. So that means the denial of the world, just as denial of individuality creates a problem, denial of world also creates a problem. So in your pursuit of growth. So let's now look at Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and we see how do we understand the world. In your journey towards the truth, not only you can't afford to deny your individuality, but you need to change the way you look at dharma and emotions. Now, with reference to the world, your relationship with the world has to change. If you look at the world as a dark place, that's your perception. The world is nothing but full of opportunities. The way Vedanta sees the world is, you're given this body, you're given the different objects in the world, that you're able to interact with the world is one of the greatest blessings. And in that interaction, Look at this. According to Vedas, this is not my opinion, this is Vedic. In that the generosity of the world is such that you can decide what you want. So that means you can decide and everything is okay. There is no, oh, this is very bad and this is not good or whatever. In the world is full of opportunities and possibilities. This is the world, the reality. Your creation of darkness is your creation. Opportunities and possibilities. And these possibilities can be collapsed by creating goals, and you can create, according to the Vedas, you can have a goal of artha, dharma, kama, and moksha. And all four are talked about in the Vedas itself. The universe comes, you are given senses, you are given the mind, and you are given the objects, and now you have to decide what is important for you and pursue what is important for you. And what do Vedas do? They don't tell you, oh, you are really bad, you are really materialistic. These are the words we give to ourselves. They don't give you this word. They don't give you these labels. The only thing they show you is your life, the only thing, which is what? Look at this. It's highly nuanced. It's very, very. Artha is a very legitimate pursuit. If you look at the people in the world, how many people are, their main goal is security. And security means, how many people talk about making the ends meet and purchasing a home. I thought only in India people are concerned with that. Yesterday, Kurt was telling me that only 40% in Germany own homes. The rest 60% are all on rent. So nobody owns home. And that is, and now, so it's buying a home becomes a big deal. So what it then means is, artha is a common pursuit all over the world. There is nothing bad about it. Please give up these lenses which are not healthy. Right? So, artha is anything to do with your security, with your wealth, with your family, anything. And kama is pleasure. So we went to France, and the whole city, Paris, which is generally a buzzing city, is all empty. Why? People are all on holiday. August means you don't find one Parisian there. All the shops are closed, and only the two American tourists come there, and they talk. And all the Parisians are out, right? Where are they? Holidaying, having a good time. So pleasures are okay. There is nothing wrong with it. Do you understand? Please don't create complexes. We are not here to create complexes. We are here to free ourselves. This is Vedanta. Embrace life, but live responsibly. Don't try to stay away from life. And don't give a label to life as something which is undesirable. That is our creation. This is not the reality. Do you see how our mind creates value system thinking that we are superior, which is a faulty value system? We like to create this black and white for us to feel comfortable. But life is, nothing is really actually as black and white as it sounds. So that means that artha and kama are totally accepted by the Vedas. But Vedas are mature, and what they say is, this is no problem, but if you don't have dharma with you, what it means is, if you're not careful about how you get your securities and about your pleasures, And if you start disturbing everybody else, then there are consequences. So that means it's not against personal consumption, not at all, but it is against disturbing others. It's not about denying yourself. Denying yourself only makes you a denier. It is about nourishing yourself, becoming responsible. When you nourish yourself and you also become big. You become big and you incorporate others' well-being, and you do things, not just things to satisfy you, but you think about others' well-being and you create positive externalities. So that means without a world, there is no growth. You need to remain in the world. World is not your enemy. The world and its experiences and the objects allow you to mature. They allow you to mature with that engagement over a period of time. You begin to see the importance of dharma. Because in the long run, if you are only thinking about taking and taking and taking, the world has its compensation systems where you will not be happy. Even if you take and you take and you take. But if you don't become big and if you don't become generous and kind and a contributor, you will not be happy. You will not be satisfied. So world is a platform. World is not to be rejected. It is a platform for you to grow. So,
That's a good question.
yes, just 1 minute. So that means dharma means how I'm able to figure out in complex situations what needs to be done, and how I make sure that my actions do not disturb others as much as possible. And if you incorporate that dimension, then you are growing as an individual. Who is making it possible for you to grow? The world. So that means your relationship with the world has to change. You don't have to see it as undesirable. You have to see it as that which gives you an opportunity and possibilities. Then you have to learn through your experiences to collapse those possibilities with maturity, with dharma. Then there is one more thing. At one point in time, you are mature enough where your actions are in harmony with the laws, but still you understand that that is not the final solution. Then it paves the way for moksha. Without the world, there is no pursuit of moksha. And through your experiences in the world, you come to know that the world and its objects are not able to totally satisfy me. But that is only through your interaction that you recognize. Without the world, how will you recognize that? So what it means is that moksha is also one more level of recognition. And what is that? Dharma, even though it is very important basis, right, for enjoying artha and kama, it's not the final solution. What does dharma? Dharma makes me a healthy, sensitive human being. This is required. But a healthy, sensitive human being still hasn't solved the problem of smallness, mortality, the larger meaning. These are still not addressed. And for this, you need to graduate to recognize this, and then you need to seek moksha. So world is a place where all these four pursuits are possible. Is it a bad place? Is it something to stay away from? Is it something to be labeled as material and to be shunned and to be detached from? Or is it a place? It's like a ground for you to grow and to learn and to seek finding freedom. So that means that your relationship with the world. Now, Sabina, you wanted to ask a question.
This is what my question, my relationship with the world. And when you say me and the world, for me this is, it's hard to think in another way, but my existence is not, this is me and this is the world, this is me and this is the nature, I have to deal with this. Do you think this is another obstacle to think in this way? Because I have to think I have to be able, or it's hard sometimes to think that there's another relationship and this is not me and the world. But to come to this, now I understand, I go, this is a step-by-step way. Right?
See, one thing, this is the whole problem that I was saying. If you skip these steps, what happens is the mind is not able to deal with things.
I can't catch it.
You can't catch it. Yeah. So if I keep talking about Vedanta as individual, the world, and Ishvara, and we are only one, and if I keep talking from here, and if I keep denying this, it doesn't allow me to grow.
My mind can't follow.
And use these relationships effectively to come to this point. This is biggest problem in Vedanta. We are too quick to go here. And we do not respect all this and settle account enough and learn enough to be this full being. Do you get this? So many problems exist with reference to one's individuality. When you very early on try to skip it, you don't allow yourself your emotional growth, you don't allow yourself to refine your understanding of dharma. When you too quickly give up this idea and keep saying, oh, we are all one, what it means is you don't allow yourself to settle account, because what is problem is that individual is there, the world is also there. The first step is not to deny the individuality and the world. The first step is to actually change your relationship with the world. We don't do it, and we keep coming to the next level, which doesn't allow sufficient changing, and that's what creates problems. Vedanta is not to skip these realities, but to change your relationship with these realities in a much more healthy way, so that you can go deeper, very organically and meaningfully. Otherwise, you yourself will see something is unsettled. Something, your mind itself will say something is not in place. Because that hurry to go to the end doesn't allow you to walk through the processes. And whole of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna wants to go to the end. Lord Krishna keeps telling him, yes, I'm not telling you that end is not important. End is the end, but you cannot ignore all of this and then reach the end. It's impossible. All these accounts have to be settled. The individual has to find joy in one's individuality. The individual has to become responsible and has to become able to navigate complex situations without getting entangled. This is part of the growth. You need to change your relationship with the world and not want to stay away from it, divide it into spiritual and material. These are all wrong starting points. We need to correct them and not move to another level without correction. This moving to a more fundamental level without corrections makes Vedanta. You yourself will feel. Then you make a statement. I understand the reality, but I still am struggling. Yeah. That is because you have not addressed all these things accurately and completely.
So why wouldn't it be better to first of all teach the preliminary stages, not telling the student, no, I'm serious, not telling the student anything about the final, and only when he reaches the qualified stage, then you spring the surprise upon him.
Great. The final surprise. Okay. There are two ways to answer this question. Right? It's interesting. If you actually look at the Vedas, right? I mean, what you're saying is absolutely right. The Vedas start not with moksha. They start with artha and kama. And they legitimize it. And they say, yeah, that's fine. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it. But what they do introduce is dharma. And then they introduce your interconnectedness with things. They introduce prayers. They introduce things. And then they quietly say, with all this, you are a mature human being, but you are still not able to solve this problem. Then what Vedanta means, what appears at the end of the Veda. And what then they quietly, finally introduce the final truth, which is moksha. So in some ways, Ehud, what you said is actually the structure of the Vedas.
It's the same as the Bhagavad
But
Gita?
now it's not. Good, Salina. So what it then means is that this is one method of teaching, right? Where you start with legitimizing whatever you want, then make you over a period of time ready. And as you are more mature and more discerning, then introduce moksha. But Bhagavad Gita's approach is different. Bhagavad Gita, the first verse where the teaching starts, and that is chapter 2, verse 11. What does Lord Krishna talk about? The nature of Atma. Now, why does Lord Krishna starts with this reality that Atma is, you will not be free from sorrow and suffering until you know the nature of Atma as free. Can anybody tell me why Bhagavad Gita starts with moksha and Vedas start with artha, kama and dharma and then introduce moksha? Vedanta starts with moksha, but the Vedanta is part of Vedas and Vedas don't start with moksha. It's only appearing at the end of the text.
Maybe because this was like an existential crisis.
Great.
It wasn't time to start explaining,
look at this.
Arjun,
look at the character Arjun. Where was he operating from? Look at this. He had artha, he was a prince, he was highly skilled, he was a leader, he was an outstanding person. He had enough pleasures in life and also its own challenges. He was highly dharmic and he found himself lost. What is the context of Arjun? Who is Arjun? Who has recognized the limitation of dharma in his life. I'm a sensitive human being. I'm a good human being. And I'm still struggling. That is the starting point of Gita. Now, what does Lord Krishna introduce first is moksha. But even, look at this, Ehud, even for somebody like Arjun, who was already very evolved human being, he introduces karma yoga. He introduces this whole another relationship with emotions. So what does it mean? even if you are a relatively dharmic human being and you're seeking for moksha, within that moksha, you still need to revisit your dharma, revisit your emotions, revisit your understanding of the world. That is part of preparation for the final truth. So what it shows is nothing is linear. Nothing is linear as we think it is. Now, imagine if I tell you I have some secret with me, which is a final secret, which is going to solve all your problems. But right now, you're in the school of preparation.
We all want the shortcuts.
And all the time I'm telling you, okay, now you have to get your emotions right, and you have to get your dharma right, and you have to get this right, and you have to get that right. And then I'll tell you the final secret. How many of you will stay? And for how long? So what is very interesting in Bhagavad Gita is a brilliant book, right? What Lord Krishna does is first shows in the glimpse of what is moksha, what is the nature of Atma that you need to know, but then comes back immediately, chapter 2, 45, 42 verse onwards, Karma Yoga. Immediately comes back. Even though Arjun was not an ordinary human being. He says, even if you want moksha, this job of revisiting dharma and revisiting your emotional life is absolutely necessary as a preparation for moksha. So what he does is, look at this, then he switches back to the reality, then he switches back to the individual and individual pursuit. So what it means is, even though your final goal is this final truth, you don't skip your individuality. You don't skip your relationship with the world. You don't skip your relationship with Ishvara too early in the pursuit. Because in that relationship is your growth. And what we all try to do is skip it all to go to the end. What does it create? It creates a problem. So, a beautiful mix of honoring your individuality because you're on the way and not pretending that this is the truth. So what we do is, look at this, we are not very clear about where we are. Suppose I show you, all of us have this final truth. We all want to pretend as though, yeah, this is my truth. What we forget is, we are on the way to get to understand this, and until you actually understand this, you are an individual. And that individuality has to be honored. And that individuality has to undergo this change. And has to change, once that individual has to change the relationship with the world without trying to skip it.
Again and again and again.
Again and again and again. Do you understand that this whole approach, I have to be detached to the world. I have to stay away from the world. World is a dark place. It will get me entangled. That there is material and spiritual. These are destructive ideas. They will not allow you to settle account. We need to change that. These are all obstacles. You need, your relationship with the world is, you have to learn to enjoy it. Yeah? That is the first step. You need to be amused by the world. You need to be amused by all the possibilities that it gives, all the opportunities that it provides. And you have to, instead of dissatisfaction, find a lot of wonder and beauty and gratitude. Don't skip that step. that is the one who will, when you take time and you honor this and you change all of this, then you are actually, moving towards the final path. Otherwise, it's all intellectual, negating, and then not making use of these opportunities that you are given.
Mm-hmm.
And also, please don't think it is linear, right? So many people come to me and they tell me when they first heard the reality, right? When it was being told, they understood some things, but they didn't totally understand anything. And but over the years, as they started changing as an individual, the same things that I talk about as the final reality have a totally different understanding in your head. What changed? People say, you became a better teacher. No. I'm saying what I'm saying. It is your capacity to understand becomes much better as your mind opens up and is able to absorb a lot more. It has become much more mature. It has become much more cultivated, much more refined and subtle. So you can actually take a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So what it means is that expansion of mind doesn't happen if you keep moving to the final truth. You need to stay as an individual. That final truth will happen almost effortlessly. Until it happens, don't force it. Honor this reality and make all the necessary changes.
Mm-hmm.
Honor individual, honor the world, but change everything within it. So what it then means is, there is and this is what our teacher used to say is, before you reach the final truth, you have to settle account with the world.
What does it mean, settle account?
Excellent. Now the next question is, what does it mean to settle account with the world? What it means is that you are able to move with ease in the world.
Well, and that, how do I do that?
Yeah, so that is the whole learning. The whole learning is, look at this. How do I do it means, what am I doing? Look at this. These are all our kind of conclusions about the world, which is, it's either I see it as unfair or I see it as all this needs to change, because that's not the reality. So how do you do it means through the learning, what I'm teaching you, you need to think about it and you need to revise your opinions. Right? I'm showing you world as opportunities and possibilities, but you think world is a dark place which gives pain.
Could it be that I don't resist anything?
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
So, what it means is the more you see it as possibility, the less. Look at this. Who Vedas did not tell you. Christina, this is 8th chapter of Living the Vision of Oneness, right? Vedas did not tell you that the world is material. It never told that. But in your pursuit of Vedanta, some teacher somewhere told you the world is material. And you bought into that. And then you tried to shun the world, thinking that the world is a dark place. I have to detach from it. I have to disconnect with it. And I have to give up desires because desires are bad. This is your story. This is not what the teaching says. Do you understand? This chapter is about the obstacles to learning Vedanta. We have created ideas which are not in the teaching. And we have created a whole world around those ideas which are not part of the teaching. And then we get caught in those ideas and we build on those ideas, which creates more and more complexities rather than takes you closer to the truth. So, understand that how in the name you think that you are moving forward, but you are caught in your own ideas which are not supported by the teaching. This is why these are the obstacles. Do you understand why this chapter is about obstacles? Because we buy into denial of individuality, denial of the world. By saying everything is one, it doesn't allow us to undertake growth as an individual and to have healthier relationship with myself, with the world. I need those connections first before I move to the final truth. Is it? Yeah.
Would you say if I'm able to reduce these obstacles more and more, then I don't have to do so much because the way becomes clearer and I'm able to recognize the way, and it's not such a hard work. My clients often ask me, what should I, please say me, what should I do, give me an advice. But when you say if you have a clear mind, it's not so hard to understand. It comes into a flow, it comes into a reality. Is this that?
Exactly.
It's not so hard.
So what is the job of a teacher? The realities are already there. There is a world out there which is giving you opportunities. But you don't understand it and you give it a label. Oh, it's a horrible world. It's a pain. If the world gives me pain. What is the problem here? The world is a problem or your perception is a problem? If I go along, look at this, and then suppose I say, this world is painful, and now you have some other spiritual pursuit, because this world is not going to give you pleasure. What am I doing? I'm not allowing you to change your perception of the world and make it more real. I'm going along and I'm creating yet another idea, and you're caught in that idea. And you are in your own world. You think I'm becoming more spiritual, but what is actually happening is that you are depriving yourself an opportunity to change your relationship with the world by seeing the world more accurately. So, Vedanta it's extraordinary. It is not rejecting life, it's living life fully. It's not rejecting the world or giving it a name, it's understanding the reality of what the world is and making your mind align to those realities which free you from dark spots. It's removing those spots, it's not reconfirming those spots. So that's what gives freedom. Otherwise, we just, So, what is a healthy relationship? You tell me, what is a healthy relationship? Who can say I have a healthy relationship in the world? Who?
You can all say it, but is it true?
Okay, what is the indicator that you have a healthy relationship with the world?
No projection.
Sorry?
No projection.
Excellent. That means you are alive to the beauty. There is a lot of beauty. And wonder, which is the world. Because it is like that. It is right now. when I look at the beauty of this beautiful river and the trees, and it's incredible. And this Amba has one flower, and the geometry of that flower is mind-boggling, and the intricacies are all beautiful. But what happens is your mind is all so busy with its own, all this, oh God, and that bridge has closed, so now September hasn't come, but already your mind is feeling, oh God, it is going to be a traffic nightmare, and it's all going to be hard, and your mind keeps creating scenarios of hard. Everything is hard. Now, one thing I see in Europe, one thing, in the morning, everybody's tired. I'm like, oh, you just got up in the morning, how are you tired? What it means is that life and the thing is, everything is, the mind processes it. Now, the other thing that I hear, which is all everywhere in the world, right? That you have to take a flight. They will all tell you, oh, there is so much traffic, and nowadays, some roads are closed, and everywhere in the world. And they'll send you 5 hours before the flight. Everybody creates such heavy reality. And everything becomes such a big deal. So where is the joy, and where is the easiness, and where is the organic? Everything becomes a whole big mission. Enjoy a little bit. Yeah, okay, I'm 2 minutes late, so what? I'll make up. And it's not that I have to be late. No, that is not. But what it means is this kind of a control and heaviness we all carry. No wonder the world becomes too much. Too much I want to control. Too much I want to make everything 100%. I'm not able to relax. I'm not able to enjoy. What it then means is all this has to change. You can't now skip and say, I'm not an individual, there is no world, there is only one reality. Do you understand this? So, one needs to learn to honor individuality, one needs to change the relationship. In the same world, you can relax, and you can trust, and you can enjoy. And the nature of the world is to change and not to resist it. People, even today, I have some people who still talk about their school days. Now, 50 years have passed. Their mind hasn't moved to a new reality. They keep thinking about, oh, my childhood was so wonderful, because then I didn't have worries. So, what it means is we keep getting stuck with things. Our mind is not able to, life is going to show you, it will move you from one thing to the other. And you have to be able to flow and not resist. And that ability, that malleability, that ability to say, okay, nothing is going to stay with me forever.
Saving.
And not wanting the same things because I'm used to it. It's all problem of maladapting to the realities of the world. All this needs to be learned. And if you skip all of this, Vedanta will feel incomplete. So that means becoming a healthier relationship with the world means see it as opportunities. And I think one thing is very, very important, that when I say the world is full of opportunities and possibilities, it is true. But, and there are people who ask me this question. It seems to you and me that it's full of opportunities, but think about all those poor people in the small villages. What possibilities do they have? What kind of... So we always create that we are all fine and we have all these opportunities, but there are all these others who don't have any opportunities. What is the truth? Everybody has an opportunity. And what is that opportunity? As Sabina said, it's not some big opportunities, it's all these small things. Small things. Small things, you do it differently, it opens another possibility. Then you do it slightly differently, then it opens another possibility. Then you do it differently, it is all about engaging with life and making little, it's not about big things, making wise choices. And see the magic. We all have to learn to do that. And please don't create a mental scenario that somebody out there doesn't have opportunities and as though you have all the opportunities and you have collapsed all the opportunities. In so many ways we are stuck in our own thinking and we have opportunities to change and we don't. Bring it to yourself. Don't create a scenario, poor them, and as though you're the savior and you're all very evolved. Everything about human construct has to be undone with the help of Vedanta. Then that individual becomes what we call a transformed individual with more accurate understanding of the world, more wise in the responses, not creating one's own frameworks and creating one's own world views which are totally inaccurate, and thinking that it is right and living from it, and then skipping it. Nothing works. Because they are distorted, they bring pain. Then what do you want to do? You want to leave it and skip it. What does Lord Krishna say? Hey, there are distortions and that you have to correct before you can move to the next level. Skipping is not an answer. So, wherever you see a problem, you have to stay there and make it a non-problem. Face it. Not run away. The minute you try to run away, it will pull you down. So this is what your settling account with the world means. You have to find certain needs and you have to give up control because you don't control everything. But that doesn't mean you don't have to use your free will wisely. So settling account with the world is understanding the nature of the world, seeing it for what it is, and removing your projections on that world and finding a way to, work or to navigate the world with a certain ease. This is important, right? The third thing is, what is the time? I have 10 minutes and I'll finish chapter 8 in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, the third denial is, don't worry, I know how people, every time people come to my retreat, so they get all stressed. When will she ever finish? They get stressed. Sometimes I distribute text. So then the text of Kathopanishad is 10 pages. And on the third day, I'm on third page. And 7 pages are still remaining and there are 2 days to go. So everybody's like, she has done only 3 pages in 3 days. Now in 2 days, how is she going to do 7 pages? So they are all getting nervous and they're, looking at which verse and how many are remaining, they start counting. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing because I know what is important, what needs to be conveyed, and then I can be a little fast. That is a teacher. That is not like I have 21 verses, I have 5 days, I have to divide by the days and hours, and then I get this perfect time that I have to spend. This is not how I work. So, what it means is that now let's move to the third thing is not only we skip individuality, we skip to redefine our relationship with the world, we also skip very often Ishvara, the cause of the universe. Lot of people, right, if you know a little bit of Vedanta, lot of people used to ask, like my teacher Swamiji used to teach in the US, right? And in the US, many American students used to ask him that Swamiji, when everything collapses into one reality, and this reality is who I am, why do I need Ishvara? I am the whole. I am the final truth of everything. This entity, Ishvara, confuses me. And it reminds me of this authority, which is kind of dictating and judging me and condemning me and all of that. Forget Ishvara, just come to the final truth. This is all the obstacles to Vedanta. Why is Ishvara important? Why?
Someone has to keep the pumps running.
So,
it's a word for different.
Right? Yeah. So, what it means is, your Vedanta is not about some final truth. The Vedanta is about, right now, there are layers of reality. And your mind has to become alive about these layers of realities and see the entire range of truth. That is called a mind which is alive to the whole truth. So what it means is, it's not my choice whether I bring Ishvara or not. Ishvara is there. So it becomes choiceless. What is this Ishvara? Look at this. The entire world, which includes my individual form and all the forms, is all collapsible into one final truth, but they are all organized in an extremely intricate way. These forms are not just random forms. It's not like my existence is totally unconnected to the trees, and the trees are unconnected to the sun and the moon. There is a whole big system out there. I'm intricately connected to the trees. I rely on those trees for my food, without which my body cannot sustain. But the trees have the capacity to give me different kind of fruits, all drawing from the energy of the sun. And that sun not only gives energy to the trees, but also provides heat so that I can survive. So what it then, and not only that, I take in the oxygen from the air and I breathe out carbon dioxide. The same tree absorbs the carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen. This is not an ordinary arrangement. What are the distances covered? What is the distance between you and the sun and the sun and the tree and the tree? They are all connected to the earth, but they taking the same energy of the sun, they create different fruits, different vegetables, and all those vitamins and minerals and proteins I need for my survival. So what it means is, not only you need to, this is already there. We are not creating realities, we are understanding existing realities. Vedanta is not creating abstraction, it's not creating concepts, it's making you see what is. So what it then means is that there are individual forms which do collapse in this reality, but these forms are arranged with incredible intricacies and precision and interdependence, and they are all governed by laws which work for millennia. In this world of forms, you can see there are physical laws, there are biological laws, there are physiological laws, there are genetic laws, there are psychological laws, there are laws of dharma, there are laws of karma. It's all intricate. So that means that this is not my created concept of Ishvara. Ishvara, which is not any person sitting anywhere, but that intelligence which then manifests as forms. And those forms are interconnected, and there are laws which govern the interaction. And everything that is here, what I see as forms is actually nothing but one intelligence manifesting. This is Ishvara. So that means Ishvara it's not my choice. Whether I want to bring in Ishvara or not, Ishvara is right now making everything happen. I cannot say I'm interested in the truth and I skip such a big reality. So, what we do need to think about is, if there is a reality, that there is an intelligence which is manifesting as all these forms, and if I skip it and go to the final truth, what do I lose in my growth? Just as I deny my individuality, I lose my emotional growth and my readjusting the meaning of dharma. If I skip my relationship with the world, and if I want to detach from the world, I don't allow myself to change my relationship with the world and see it as possibilities and opportunities and to live with enthusiasm. If I skip Ishvara, what do I miss out on? And just go to the final truth. What do I miss out on?
You can't jump there. You have to work through all these forms, because as an individual you are stuck in the hole, and you have to slowly work yourself out of it.
Absolutely. So what it means is, if you miss Ishvara, you cannot make sense of the world of forms. Because everything that you see seems chaotic. On the surface, when your eyes see, how does the world look like? Chaotic with wars and inflation, and the petroleum prices are going up, and then there are migrants who are coming into the countries. Nothing. Then there is some terrorism, then there is somebody throwing bombs somewhere. What sense can you make in the world? Why is somebody born in a poor village in some country in Africa and somebody in a palace in God knows where, in Monaco? Why? When you look at the world of forms, how will you make sense of these worlds? Because what your eyes report is all chaos. How can you trust the world? When you see so much and you don't understand why. So many people, when I talk about Vedanta, they ask me, why is some child born with some what we call, why there are some differently abled child? Why from the young age they have to go through such a disadvantage? What is the answer? What answer will you give if you use your senses?
It's not fair.
Exactly. So what it means is, if you only use your perception to answer, the answer will be, it is unfair. But when you bring all these laws which are impartial, which are infallible, and you begin to see the precision and the interdependence and the intricacies, and if you listen to this teaching, then you can say there are laws of cause and effect. Cause and effect laws don't start from the time of your birth. When did they start? The laws of which govern the universe, when did they start? They don't have time. They don't have time period. Along with the manifestation, all these laws started. So when you come on this earth at that particular point in time, and you have an idea in mind how the world has to work, and if it doesn't suit you, then you conclude it is unfair. It's such a short vision, because those cause and effects have been in place for millennia. And then to think that when you leave the world, it is the end of cause and effect, is it? The cause and effect have a much longer time period within which they work than you. And you have come into this world which is already organized through so many intricacies. So that means the way we see the starting point is not the same. But what we don't know is all the causes. So what do we conclude is unfair? But what we don't see is, we don't have humility to tell ourselves, I'm a small speck as an individual in the universe. And the universe has existed without me for millennia. And it will continue to exist without me for millennia. And it is governed by its laws. I only need to learn how to participate. I cannot control the world. And I need not control the world. So how is this world run? Through the intelligence, which is what we call Ishvara. Understanding this Ishvara is key to relaxing as an individual. I don't need to carry the burden of running the world. I only have the responsibility of participating in it meaningfully and wisely. And while I do it, even if things don't happen my way, I can trust that the laws are infallible, they are unbiased, they are impersonal. Nobody is punishing anyone. Nobody is judging me. They are just rules of the game. Then I can feel safe. There is no big authority who is watching and saying, hey, is she doing the right thing or not, and let me punish her. There is no such authority there. Away from me trying to judge me and put me in a box. There is no box. It's just rules of the game. The more I'm able to understand those laws, more I am in keeping with those laws, more I work with it, more I'm able to flow and navigate my life intelligently, with confidence, with trust. Ishvara is essential because it is a reality. If you don't bring Ishvara, you cannot answer the questions. Why I had to go through the pain that I had to go through this? Why somebody else has to go through the pain? It's not doing of anybody. It is just how the causes and effects work. But within that, there are possibilities. And within that, there is a possibility of freedom. Final freedom. So, Ishvara is required for me to heal myself. In that infallible order of Ishvara, when I do my salutations, I don't resist realities. I learn to live with realities and find solutions. So, Ishvara is required. There is no, and within this world of forms, who will take me to this final reality? Who knows the final reality? There is only one entity, which is Ishvara. That intelligence which has manifested the whole universe knows the fact that all these forms are just nothing but one truth. That knowledge is from Ishvara. That you meet a teacher is the arrangement of Ishvara. What is the statistical probability that you and I meet? Tell me. All these arrangements within arrangements within arrangements. Then we have to see the wonder. People ask me this question. Yeah, we in India, we are used to this Vedic culture. How do others know? Hey, others come more than Indians do. It's all, mind imagines. It's like this little finger asking, oh, if I'm in pain, the brain is so far away. How will the brain know that I'm in pain? Because from the standpoint of the little finger, brain seems too far away and communication seems impossible. But what is the reality? It's all instantaneous. Why is it instantaneous? It's one entity. Similarly, the whole universe is nothing but Ishvara. How will you skip Ishvara and know the truth? I don't know how. So these are not choices. It's not I choose to know Ishvara or not. Ishvara is there, the world is there, individuality is there. We have to honor it all, we have to use it all to reach the final truth. So I will end the session by saying Vedanta is not about negating forms and coming to this final truth. Vedanta is about understanding the dynamics of these forms, how they work. You first have to change your own interaction with the world, understand Ishvara, from which the whole manifestation is, and then come to the final truth. So Vedanta is not about negating all this and understanding the final truth. It's understanding the entire show. You don't skip the forms, you don't skip the world, you don't skip Ishvara, but you understand the levels and then you arrive at the final truth. It's seeing the whole picture, is Vedanta. So you're not staying away from anything, but you know what is what, and you are not confused. You are able to hold the whole thing and you're able to move within that truth. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanokaram atman nevatmana tushtaha sita prajnasya uchyate. What it means is the person who understands the entire thing is able to roam around in the world with freedom. Nothing stops. And the person is not artificial, the person is not staying away, the person doesn't skip realities, but sees the entire picture fully and clearly. This is a wise person. So, denial leads to problems. So these are the obstacles. Right? Now, next session in after lunch is meditation. It's lovely because, look at this, we will give you some time to go to sleep. In meditation, you never know who's sleeping, who's not sleeping. I am in deep in my contemplation, and you can have a little nap. So it's okay. So what we'll do is, after lunch, now you can have lunch, and then we will do meditation, and I will explain different steps of meditation.
At what time are we still doing?
We are. The time becomes all relative. Okay. Now I don't know. At least as of now, 2:30. We keep 1 hour for lunch or more.
No, it's enough.
It's okay.
Lunch comes, it's not yet there.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Guru Hari Om.